Lamar Jackson comes into the act. I don't like that. I keep wanting to say Heinz Field.
I just don't understand, and well, I do understand, but I mean, for just playful reasons, I don't understand why it can't be Acrisure Stadium at Heinz Field.
Yes,
it would be Heinz Field at Acrisure Stadium, right?
Or that.
Well, Heinz. Well, here's you know what the practical reasons are.
Sure, go ahead.
Heinz has to pay for that,
right?
And they didn't want to.
No.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense. Then.
The naming rights renewed, and they didn't. That's how that works, right? You get a term.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now they have the Heinz Gate now, I think.
Right,
the bottles at one of the gates, but Gate's not the same price as the. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if I don't see Heinz ketchup wherever I go, I went to a place, I don't know where I was. I think I was in actually Texas.
Yeah.
They had Heinz mustard.
Yes.
But not Heinz ketchup.
Right.
What kind of ketchup?
What in the blue hell is that?
I don't even like Heinz mustard. I go with French's.
Right, but
Heinz ketchup, French's mustard.
In what world does it make sense to have Heinz? Like, wouldn't you not just bulk order both?
Yes.
Right.
Like some fancy ketchup knockoff brand? Like, I don't want that. So, no offense to Heinz, but they didn't pay for it. You got to ante up, man.
You know what I found in my daughter's Halloween, bucket yesterday?
Ketchup packets.
I found a ketchup packet.
She probably put that in there.
And it was a Hunt's.
Oh, no.
I swear to God. A Hunt's ketchup packet.
Sacrilege.
I threw it away.
Of course.
No one gave that out. But we also, they must have, I guess, because we don't have Hunt's ketchup in our house.
They did to mess with you, probably.
Could have been screwing around.
Yeah.
A little Hunt's ketchup packet. Yeah, which had been sitting there, it's all warm.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Because we let her have one piece a day. Because, come on. The first 2 days, she just hammered all of it.
Portion control.
Yeah, it's portion control. So she gets one piece with lunch every day, whatever she wants. That's fine. And now she's dwindling down to the crappy candy and Hunt's ketchup. Can we talk about Lamar now?
Yeah, that was a little bit of a missive there.
No, and then I chased the shiny object. So Lamar Jackson comes in here on Sunday, and he's 1-3 against the Steelers, and the numbers aren't good. Joe Burrow himself has had some issues with the Steelers' defense. You want to know why? It's because the Steelers' defense is pretty good, and a lot of quarterbacks are going to have trouble. But Lamar Jackson, who has won 2 MVPs, who is well on his way to his third, is having issues, has had issues with the Steelers' defense. A, why? B, do you agree with me that this is the week that he finally gets off the schneid? I just think you can't keep a great player down as much as they've kept him down. I think eventually the all-time greats are going to get over on you, and I think he's going to have a hell of a game on Sunday.
But is that going to be enough for them to win? Because he got over a little bit last year, but the whole game didn't fall his way. He had a lot of drop passes by his receivers. So, I mean, you'll take that. You'll take that if Lamar Jackson has an MVP game, but they don't win. If there's fumbles by Deontay Johnson in the end zone or something like that, I mean, that's just how the games usually go, and that's why the record is in favor of the Steelers against Lamar Jackson, I believe. But I mean, I don't see why not. I don't see why he wouldn't bring that type of level of competition. He's playing fantastic. But also, as we said yesterday, if they want to make him the pocket passer that he has become a little bit and has done very well at this year, there's a guy on the other side that is just as good in his relative position, and that's T.J. Watt. And T.J. Watt was blank last week. He didn't have a tackle, didn't register a stat, didn't have a sack. And I'd like to bet that T.J. Watt has a big game. So, it's like it's going to be one of those matchups. That's why we're so excited. I mean, we started talking about this game, honestly, towards the back half of Monday's show to start preparing for this, but because there's so many great matchups. But I would tend to believe that Lamar, you're going to get one of the best versions of Lamar. But is that going to be enough, Pat? Like, is that going to be enough for them to win against the Steelers team that is very hot right now?
I mean, he's been sacked 20 times in our last 4 games against the Steelers. That's by my math, that's 5 sacks a game. That is significant. That is a significant part of the game. Now, they don't have Highsmith, but they got Herbig back. I love the Preston Smith signing. They get after him. Now, he hasn't played them with Derrick Henry back there. I know the Steelers have been pretty good against Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry with Lamar Jackson is different than Derrick Henry with Ryan Tannehill. And Lamar Jackson with Gus Edwards is different than Lamar Jackson with Derrick Henry. So that worries me a little bit. And the Steelers, they gave up some rushing yards against the Giants. They were better last week. But I think the Steelers are going to have their way, man.
They're going to have their way?
I do. I do. I just think they're – man, I just think they're –
You think they're better than the Ravens?
I do.
Me too. But the one advantage that they clearly have to me is Lamar Jackson. And that's to take nothing away from Russell Wilson. This guy's been a 2-time MVP. He's got a quarterback rating of 120. This is the best he's ever looked. But, Dorin, if I say you can't keep that guy on the mat because he's so good, your retort is a great one. If I'm expecting this guy to have the dam break, well, you can't keep TJ Watt down either. That's what makes this so fascinating. I do think the Steelers are a better football team, an overall better football team. I think in order to win this game, you got to beat them in a shootout. I think Russ has to, in the Steelers offense, has to outduel the Ravens offense because we haven't seen Derrick Henry up in here. And boy, oh boy, does he change things.
Well, I mean, I think this game sets up for that. And we've been talking about this too. Now that we're dwindling down to the end of the week, you have to exploit their weakness. And their weakness is their back end if you're the Steelers offense. And you can't outthink yourself. Like, you don't want to get into this chess match of a game between Harbaugh and Tomlin. If you're Mike Tomlin, you don't want to make it between you two. If you see something, exploit it.
Yeah.
And in your scenario, to go shot for shot and to be a lot of points scored, they can do that against this defense. They can. And you'd also know that Russell Wilson is probably not going to turn the football over, too. He knows where he's going with the football, and it's never usually in harm's way, knock on wood, except for like last game, which was basically a punt.
It was a punt.
But their back end is tough, and tough in a bad way. Like, it's tough to watch. I mean, they drop a lot of interceptions. They've had a lot of opportunities to create turnovers, and they just don't do it. And they could be out without their best player in Kyle Hamilton. You got to exploit that weakness if you're the Steelers offense.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that Russell Wilson's I think he uniquely positions them to win multiple ways. They haven't been able to do that for 3 years. Mm-mm. So that's what gives me comfort, somewhat comfort in this game. What concerns me is not Lamar Jackson in this game, his arm. What concerns me is, does Baltimore start running the football? If they run the football effectively, if we get Henry going, it's a slippery slope to a bad place against them. And I just think that this defense knows that. I think Patrick Queen knows what's going on that other side of the ball too. I think that's an interesting component of the game. I don't typically play a lot in, but you have a guy was there that long and knows the idiosyncrasies of that team, and now is joining a team that's had their number. I think I prescribe value there.
Arthur Smith with Derrick Henry as well, too.
I think there's value. I mean, listen, knowing what Derrick Henry's going to do and then stopping it are two entirely different things.
Right.
His butt was out the other day. You see that?
Yeah, he got stripped.
Here's what I don't understand. As an aside, he's vegan.
Basically, he eats a banana and avocado before practice, and then he has a big dinner.
He's vegan, and he is.
He probably has to be vegan, Pat. I mean, he's 260 pounds. If he ate steaks and burgers and had cows grill him up some hot dogs, he'd probably be 290.
Yeah, he'd be a biggin.
Huge.
Yeah, he's a freak, man. But here's the thing about the Steelers defense. If they're able to stop the run, and Landon Roberts, Queen, if they're able to neutralize those things, the thing that I think is different about the Steelers in their 3-4 structure is seldom do you play a team when you have Herbig and Watt that have that kind of speed on the outside, and Highsmith. I know they're not as fast as Lamar Jackson, but you have to remember, like, he's at a standstill and has to start to get out of there. And they've got this athleticism on the perimeter that I think prevents that from happening a lot of the time. Now, he can scramble up inside and just gut you up the middle. But, to have 20 sacks in 4 games cumulatively against this guy, when his head hits the pillow on Saturday night, it's what you're thinking about, man.
Sure.
Like, you're thinking about 90, you're thinking about typically 56, but now you've got, Herbig and Preston Smith, and then you got big Cam Hayward in there, who's playing better and better.
Yep.
He played great against Washington.
2 sacks.
Great. All over the place.
Yes, he was outstanding.
Like, the biggest thing is, can they get them to 2nd and 7? Can they keep them in 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8? If it's 2nd and 3, danger zone. Can they win first down? I think if you look at first down achievement for the Ravens, first down average of play efficiency, and it's less than 4 yards, less than 3.5 yards, Steelers are going to win a game.
Steelers have done this thing against Lamar in the past where they'll play 3 inside backers on the field at the same time. I don't know that you can do that anymore because they've got a lot more speed on the outside than they've had in recent years. Texter, Bostick is right. Ever since Crafty Bob Cheese, Robert Kraft bought Heinz, I always grab the ketchup for my burgers and fries. Just so you know, Robert Kraft does not own Kraft Mac and Cheese. he is the Gillette razor guy. I used to think the same thing and like to educate you.